President Biden finally chalks up a W after signing his newly passed $1.2 trillion bipartisan infrastructure bill into law on Monday. You know, we've been talking about this for some time now. About $550 billion of that money includes projected federal spending on roads and bridges, expanded broadband access, and much more. But just how and when states and cities will see these funds still remains in question. One state eager to start chipping away at a staggeringly long to-do list of public works projects is New York State. The Empire State is set to receive an estimated $27 billion from the federal government. Most of that goes to paying for upgrades in a region with outdated infrastructure whose vulnerability has been especially tested by climate change. So now what? Where do we go from here, and how long will it take to actually see the fruits of this infrastructure package? And most importantly, what will it do for Black and brown communities? For more on this, I'd like to welcome my friend, former DNC Vice Chair and former New York Assembly member Michael Blake to Amplified for the first time. He is the CEO of Atlas Strategy Group. Mike, it is so good to have you here. I also want to mention that Brother Blake here served in the Obama White House and is very familiar with big bills getting passed and needing to be implemented. So I wanted to start by just asking you, what are your immediate thoughts about this bill and the fact that it was finally signed into law after months and months of deliberation?
Well, first and foremost, it's just great to be with you. I'm just so proud of you and everything you're doing. And that's why I had to make sure I wore the nice suit and nice tie just for you tonight. I had to come correct right there. You know, look, I really do believe that today is the reset moment of the Biden-Harris administration because people woke up and they saw front pages that were talking about jobs, not January 6th, that was talking about infrastructure, not insurrection, and was talking about transportation, not Trump. And folks are tired of hearing that Trump is bad. We understand that. We needed to show them why we are good. And so when you start really breaking down what's happening here, you can understand roads and bridges and jobs. You can grasp what that means for you. And now it's about not just telling why this was good today for one bill, but continuing to tell the story. You know, a former pastor of mine, Pastor Nathan Dixon in Michigan, would always say, people forget 90% of what they hear. So it's not important alone just to say that the bill was great. You have to keep reminding people when the bill gets implemented, especially when we get into 2022 for the midterm elections.
Yeah, people remember how they feel and what they got at the end of the day. And like I was just saying, New York is probably going to get $27 billion in federal funding out of this bill. Most of it is going to go towards the hard infrastructure, the highways. A good $10 billion is earmarked for public transportation, which we all know New York City desperately needs. And I wonder, what changes or improvements do you believe will best serve Black and brown New Yorkers?
Well, look, when we think about what's going on in our community, you know, I haven't had a car in probably more than 10 years. And I think that's the approach for many of us that live in New York and live in major metropolitan centers around the country. If you're in a space where, you know, finally, my road, my bridge, my street is going to be improved. It's not going to happen overnight, but it's going to be the beginning of that. Then you know, okay, my life is going to get better, because at the end of the day, I can have the best school, I can have the best house, I can have the best community, but if I can't get there, it doesn't matter. And so we talk about connecting communities. I can't be connected if I can't get there. But then the next step of this is the 1-2 punch. Right? When we think about what has to happen, yes, the infrastructure bill is critical, but now you have to continue making sure that the Build Back Better bill also passes. Because it's not just about ensuring you have better public transportation. We need better public housing. We need better public health. And that's how you have the comprehensive impact on our communities that matters for all of us. We are sick and tired of everything that says public being seen as bad. It's time for when people hear they hear public, they actually know it's good.
Yes, I know you represented a big part of the Bronx during the height of the pandemic, and you've spoken before about how the pandemic was especially hard on boroughs like the Bronx and Queens, areas that are dominated by people of colors and areas that are usually afterthoughts in many cases. So this Build Back Better, what we call the human infrastructure or the social spending package is still in limbo, hasn't passed yet. And I wonder, what efforts right now are being made to make sure the people in those boroughs don't get left behind?
So, Brother Senator Warnock, and I got to always toss out there as a good alpha man, he dropped that good knowledge for folks out there, reminded people in saying, I can't breathe in two different aspects. It was, I can't breathe because of what was happening, of course, because of COVID, but it also was, I can't breathe because of racial injustice that was happening over and over again. And when we appreciate that there's COVID-19, but there's also COVID-16-19, this is why you need to have all these bills move forward. Now, we're going to focus on climate change. We're going to focus on what's happening with housing and infrastructure. But it's also important to make sure that specific nuances that matter to Black and brown folk also get focused on as well. For example, right now, Pell Grants, which has a tremendous benefit to communities of color, especially low-income communities, would only go to students that are at schools, except schools that are for-profit institutions. Now, Trump University, University of Phoenix, I know there were others that played games, but don't hurt these Black and brown kids, such as a Monroe College, that need the help right now. You talk about public housing and the transformation that happens within public housing. Still within federal language, if you smoke marijuana, you are not eligible to be in public housing. But yet you have decriminalization that's happening and cannabis expansion that's happening across the country. So we have to make sure that there's common sense that goes a bit further. And lastly, this is about being real clear. David Axelrod will always tell us this is about choice and contrast. The Republicans haven't done a thing to help you. They moved forward with policies that were going to kill us during COVID, and then they wanted to kill a bill that would actually create jobs. So in 2022, remind folks, you have one party that wanted to give you jobs, wanted to help your schools, wanted to help your hospitals, wanted to make sure you had roads and bridges, and yet another party that is still beholden to Donald Trump. Now, I understand sometimes we want to just act like that's not the case collectively, but Black folk, please make sure we're focused. Donald Trump asked us in Detroit, what do Black folk have to lose? The reality was our lives, our jobs, our homes, our schools, and that's why these two bills are so critical for us. It's about advancing us so we can say we can breathe.
Yeah, so I only have 1 minute left, but you're a New Yorker, so I want to hear from you about what you think of the state of political affairs in New York. You've got a new mayor coming in, Eric Adams, who happens to be a Black man. You got a Black woman, Attorney General Tish James, and now another Black man, Jumaane Williams, who are running for governor. All those folks are from Brooklyn. It's an interesting time in New York, and what are you hoping to see play out in this next election cycle?
Well, maybe we need to get some Bronx action out there for some of these things. So we'll holler about that another date, another time, maybe. But, I think at the end of the day, 2022 is going to be a major year for us. It's exciting that you have multiple women and multiple Black folk running for the top position in our state. But it's also making sure that we think about from the State House to the U.S. House on down. So whether it be governor, comptroller, attorney general, city council races in 2023 when redistrict happens, of course, Congress, state Senate, and also state assembly. This is a game-changing year in 2022 that's coming upon us. And I just think it's important for us to also realize at the end of the day, we have an opportunity to transform the game. And so more people have to be at the table. So when Eric Adams becomes our mayor, it's about making sure that while we support his vision and what he's doing, that we also have to hold people accountable and say, dangerousness is not something we need within our criminal justice policies to be changed when it comes to bail reform. When we talk about minority women-owned businesses, that's something all of our candidates need to focus upon. When we talk about what's happening as it relates to holding people accountable and the vision around creating jobs and equity, that's what we need from all of our candidates. So when you ask about New York and what's coming next year, it's not just about making history or herstory. It's about how do you change the story of the people on the ground.
All right, Michael Blake. Always great to talk to you, brother. I hope to have you back on Amplified to keep chopping it up about the politics of New York and the nation. Appreciate you for being here.